you to get honest with your reflection, the pen, and the page. Let me take you for a walk. Black people can be Latino. Black people can be Hispanic. Black people are the American express of people because we are everywhere the rest of you want and need to be. Those of us staying inside are doing so for our own safety. The rest of you that pretend like you're not comfortable in the proximity that you hold due to the caste system. We've taught you, we've given you the handbook, we've even reminded you and taken your remedial asses back to class to make sure you could read it and comprehend it properly. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Thank you for joining me here for Conversations with Taz. Think about it Thursdays. Now, I'm not really a conspiracy theorist, but I do like to dive in and see, can we discuss amongst us good folks how this conspiracy could be plausible? With that being said, there is a lot swarming around in regards to the death of Charlie Kirk. Some people are questioning if he's actually deceased. Some people are wondering, did his wife have something to do with it? Were they on the verge of divorce? Is she a honeypot? Where is her father? And where is she actually from? Ooh, excuse me. Well, let's see what we can figure out tonight. Let's see what conclusions we come up with by the time this is all said and done. So there is a lot. Gonna try to get through as much of this as we possibly can tonight. So let's.
Radical left.
Yep.
Charlie Kirk's wife was Miss Arizona for Donald Trump's Miss Universe pageant in 2012. Not only that, but when she was 17, she founded the Everyday Heroes Like You Foundation, which funded the Romanian Angels Project, which teamed up with the United States Marine Corps when she was 17, which was an orphanage project. Erica also brags about being a recruiter, so she goes to Romania with the United States Marines under the guise of the Romanian Angels Ministry, an orphanage project, which was trafficking children. This Israeli news publication is reporting that Romania is investigating an Israeli adoption agency which is apparently harvesting organs from kidnapped children in Romania. Here's a BBC report saying that trafficked children were groomed in Romania and sent to the UK. I wonder why. It's just a really interesting piece of information that most people don't know. Another really important piece of information is that Charlie Kirk's father, Robert Kirk, was the architect who constructed the Trump Tower in Chicago. Charlie Kirk's father was the man who built Trump Tower in Chicago. It's just super interesting. This part is my speculation. It's almost like Donald Trump was raising this pig for slaughter. It's like a Harry Potter situation where Snape has to, let Harry Potter get slaughtered and he doesn't want to, but I think Trump kind of wants.
Now, here's the thing. It is weird that at 17 years old, she would have that level of connection. Very weird, very odd. I will give you that. But also, let's stop acting as if Dummy Donnie is the mastermind behind these things. I think we lose track when things happen, of the fact that as much as Trump believes that he's using other people, more often than not, he's the one being used. A lot of people convene in his sphere for power grabs. I don't think that this was some great master, because if Trump was capable of all this espionage and all this behind the scenes manipulation of politicians, January 6th would have never happened. He wouldn't be so loose in the mouth as he is now. Donald Trump holds about as much water as a colander. Absolutely none. Absolutely none. So once again, let's not give Donald Trump too much credit. Let's not. And there are a lot of wealthy people who are able to finagle themselves and their children into varying positions and opportunities. But let's keep going here. Let's move on to the clip number 2.
We've been married for
How did you know it was time to get married? I mean,
almost 4 years in May. We've been married since 2021. Engaged 2020.
so it'll be 4 years.
4 years. We laugh about this because our dates are so messed up because of babies. Meaning, there's so many dates to remember.
I know. I get all the anniversaries.
Like kids' birth
May
dates.
14th,
Yeah,
August.
all the things.
This one's easy. How long have you been married, and when did you know it was time to get married?
We've been married for
How did you know it was time to get married?
4
I
years.
mean,
Almost 4 years in May. Meaning, there's so many dates to remember.
Hey, Sabrina. Here's the thing. With this one on Reddit, there are people claiming to be from Romania, claiming that she's banned from Romania, claiming that she was helping to run a brothel at 17 years old. There's also a claim that she was previously married to a gentleman. Didn't see that leading anywhere. Can't confirm or deny that. And there are people who are taking clips like this and going, yeah, she has to be a honeypot. She has to be a honeypot. Or she just doesn't like him. Because there are also people giving her the Michelle Obama treatment. And this is what I mean by that. There's no pictures online of her being pregnant. Everybody doesn't want to be photographed while pregnant. And let's be honest, everybody does not look nice while pregnant. There are some people who look like death becomes them while pregnant, and they don't want to chronicle that forever. Everybody does not want pregnancy photo shoots and everything like that. There are people who just don't. They don't. I have a couple of relatives that they have some pictures in their phone. I think I have a couple pictures of a few relatives that they're like, please don't post. You know, you can have it for yourself. If you have a photo of them, you can put it in there, but they don't want it online. Okay, cool. Now, it is weird that all the pictures that she does have seemingly chronicling her life, that it's weird that she wouldn't put it on there. But I do take note of the fact that she seems to go to great length to cover the identity of her children. So she may just not like him. She may have just not liked him. You know, and when you're claiming to be of a certain belief system and you want traditional this and traditional that, and that is your brand, certain things might be happening and you may be pressured into something. Not making any excuses, because I don't like either one of them. But I do know of a situation where there were two people who were literally forced to date each other from middle school all the way through adulthood. And when they got married, people are like, oh, took them so long, 11 years. And I'm like, they were minors. And they wanted to break up multiple times. And people kept pushing them together. You can already tell where this story is going. They did not stay married. They did not. And there's some bitterness there. Once again, not making excuses for the lady. But if you're going to put together a conspiracy theory, you got to put in real life scenarios and real life possibilities. You have to observe these people and try to get to know them a little bit, even if it's parasocial, even if it's just through research to try to put together something. Because like I always say, some things can be very, very innocent. And then you're out here, making them seem diabolical. Like, let's not be too ridiculous with things. Okay, let us not. But like I said, gonna try to run through all these clips. It's a lot. It was a lot. So I get for bringing stuff up a little bit, and people were like, "Oh, let's go through this. You like to talk about conspiracies? Let's go." And the rabbit hole is deep. They're yeah. So I'm gonna try not to keep you here too long tonight, but yeah, try to keep it into our normal time frame. But yeah, here we go.
There's this.
If you can't see it, you are just blind. Watch this.
I believe that we all have angels in our lives. And these are my little angels from Antonio Placement Center in Constanța, Romania.
Listen.
Our goal with the Romanian Angels Project was to show these children the true American heart during the holiday season. And what better way to do that than having our United States military personally deliver the gifts?
Listen.
All 75 children had a present to open that day. Sometimes the greatest charity comes from the most simple forms of kindness.
And now my concern is, where are these kids? Where are they now? And I found this picture from TikTok. And is this thing true? Tell me, read this here.
Once again, I get why people are digging into this, especially people who initially had a knee-jerk reaction, got emotional, and wanted people fired because they weren't showing enough compassion for them. And then they're now looking at his wife, who seems to have gotten over her grief faster than you can heat up a Hot Pocket. Okay. But one, she's weird. Because I don't know what excitement children outside of the United States that are not United States citizens or the product of United States citizens would get from U.S. military delivering them anything. We have to be honest about the intimidation factor of our military. Okay, that's not always a pleasant, welcoming sight for people. It is what it is. I'm not saying that everybody in the military is out for, not saying that. But going through these videos, and tell me by the time we get to the end if you notice this also, but I noticed in going through these videos and watching and listening to her appearances, she's got this weird duality going on where she tries to sound sultry and seductive no matter what she's talking about, but also she wants to sound innocent and like a damsel. It's weird. The child is weird. But I'm going to keep running through these.
So how have we gone from this?
That young man. I forgive him.
which was the 21st of September, and now 7 days later, we get this.
Nothing is changing, but I want to preface, we're not awkward. We're not like weird.
Real quick, I'm pausing right here for a minute. The brand she's now selling, and I want you to pay attention to what I'm saying, because it's going to be pertinent as we go through these videos. At these events, at her little Kirkapaloozas, not a hair is out of place. Makeup is perfect. Now she's trying to give the clean girl aesthetic with not so perfectly coiffed hair when she's technically on the clock. You have been voted in as the CEO of your husband's legacy company, and this is how you show up to work? When your husband, his rhetoric is the perfectly coiffed homemaker wife. And like I always tell y'all, people online selling you the trad wife life are not really trad wives, because a lot of people are like, oh, well, how did she step into this role? She hasn't had a job before. And I made that assumption too at first until I did a little digging. Once again, I put my cart ahead of the horses. Not ashamed to admit it. Hey, we're all human. We know about, the initiative that she started at 17, but while married to Charlie, she had a company. But this is an interesting choice.
Cringy.
We're not going to be tweeting as if it's him. That's tone deaf and really disturbing. And anyone who does that's like morbidly off.
Hey,
You're joking about that. Why would you continue to use his account on any social media platform? Turning Point USA has its own social media handles. I checked.
going to be doing about 5 more episodes a week now. So just tell the team and make sure that happens.
3 hours of this, 2 more hours of podcasting.
There is just something that just doesn't feel right. It feels wrong. It feels off. And I am trying so hard not to over speculate, but it's hard when stuff like this has been put out to us. It's just not normal. It doesn't feel natural. I feel like we're watching a performance. It's almost like we're watching a movie.
And right here, pausing here, and we'll get into this. I believe I pulled a clip of it. Sister Girl was in music videos. As what you can see by her current performances, she's not a very good actress. And, I think at the end of the day, she just didn't like him. Why? I mean, she's the one. She's the one with all of the connections. She came from money. She has all of the degrees. I don't really see her as a honeypot. The more I learn about her, I would have expected her to be more on the liberal side of things. Still plausibly, have a husband, maybe have children, maybe not, but have a full career of her own. The choice in Charlie Kirk is where the disconnect is coming with me. And this isn't about looks, because, the whole Beauty and the Beast scenario happens all day, every day, where people, think that aesthetically people don't go together. And I've talked about this before, that I cannot stand when a couple breaks up and they go, but you all looked so good together. Who the hell cares? If they're not healthy, who cares about the look? But also, the more I dug, it does not seem that their values align. And I'm like, why did she align with someone who does not have her same values and the education that she got, the degrees that she has? conservatism doesn't seem to fit her original life plan. So it's like, what does she gain from an attachment to him? But who some people on the interwebs are calling the real Mrs. Kirk, I don't know, I never thought the day would come that I would be slightly in agreement or say that Candace Owens has some good points and some good questions. Dear God, is a split in the time continuum. Are we in the Twilight Zone? Who knows?
What lie has Erica told that I'm supposed to be focused on? Okay.
I'll just share two of them that make me sus. And I know there are more, but let's just share these two.
I want to thank the first responders. First responders who struggled heroically.
Heroically.
To save Charles's life.
If there were no first responders present that anybody saw initially after Charlie Kirk died, but yet Erica Kirk thanked the first responders, would that statement be truth or would it be a lie?
Yes, if none were present, that statement would be a lie.
Okay, then therefore, how can anyone say that what she said was not a lie when we have no proof that there were any first responders on the scene, unless they look like his friends from Turning Point throwing him into an SUV with no blood present?
That there's no blood. There's no blood from the back.
And I want to thank the Turning Point USA board, the amazing Mikey McCoy.
Wait. The amazing Mikey McCoy? Jimmy Dore, let's have you handle this one for those who don't know.
Charlie Kirk, his body hasn't even hit the ground yet. He hasn't even fallen off the chair. And his chief of staff,
the amazing Mikey McCoy,
puts the phone to his ear, turns around and starts walking away calmly and slowly like a zombie.
Here it is. Another angle. You can see Charlie below being carried into the SUV, and Mikey,
the amazing Mikey McCoy,
is in the distance, looks to be still just on the phone, casually strolling away.
The amazing Mikey McCoy.
Amazing.
The amazing Mikey McCoy.
Amazing can be subjective, so maybe that's not a lie, because it's amazing that he was able to do that being human and seeing his best friend get shot and walk away. Didn't even have time to dial, just walked away slowly, casually in the opposite direction. That's pretty amazing. So let's throw this one in. How about this? You can't tell me this isn't a lie.
There's nothing to hide. I know there's not, because I've seen what the case is built on.
What lie has Erica told that I'm supposed to be focused on?
There's nothing to hide.
What lie has
Now, I touched on this in a previous episode because Mikey McCoy's father, you can tell he's trying to defend his son, like preemptively defend his son. It's like, yes, he was calling me and he was covered in blood. There were no first responders. There is video. I believe I pulled the video. There's so many videos I pulled, so I'm sorry. Where they're carrying Charlie to his SUV. And I also want to point out to you all, maybe you knew about this, maybe you didn't. When Charlie was shot, nobody looked around for a shooter. Nobody pulled out a weapon. Nobody stayed behind at the scene to tape it off as a crime scene. And Erica Kirk hasn't pushed for an investigation. Remember, she forgave the shooter. But did y'all know that she's still carrying a beef for Jimmy Kimmel? You forgave the shooter, but nobody else? And then the hanging out of the window to cry. She's always wiping tears from right here, nowhere else. And she always seems to catch them when they're right here. Because if you're mourning, and some people are like, well, no, she wanted to wave to the fans that aren't hers. while recently doing an interview with Fox News, claiming that cameras are always on her and she can't really breathe properly and everything else. That's weird. That's weird. If they weren't the Kirks and you saw a widower acting like this, there would be a 20-part series on Lifetime, ID channel, Court TV, you name it. And they'll be picking it apart going, what's up with this? What's up with this wife? And this is also why people believe that she has something to do with it. Like, girl, I understand. You seem to be sick of his shit. Like, I get that. I really get that. But once again, white people, divorce is an option. Separation is an option. And being married to somebody like Charlie Kirk, who has such grating, misogynistic, etc., language, securing alimony, securing child support at that level would be a breeze. And keep in mind the previous video where they're sitting at work together. She's supposed to be a trad wife. It was Charlie Kirk's belief that women could have a career, but it was after children. Now, I don't know if it was after everybody started school or after everybody graduated high school or after everybody graduated college. But yeah, later in life, get that career. And I know they say it's never too late to start, but in some career fields, yes, the fuck it is. Yes, it is. Well, let's keep going.
I am tremendously blessed and honored tonight to be able to introduce to you a very, very dear friend and his wife. They are incredible. And I see no one will ever.
Okay. A lot of people are taking this segment right here, where she goes, a very, very dear friend and his wife, and taking that as shade. First of all, she's been friends with Usha Vance for a while, according to their words, according to reports. Okay. So the order in, JD Vance and Usha, okay, that may not be salacious. She's obviously a clout chaser. So yes, she's going to put the person with the highest political power first. I don't think that right there goes to it. And then when she's like, nobody can replace my husband, but he does remind me, you're friends. She's overthinking this to play the part too much. Have you ever gone to like a play? Or maybe you're a theater kid. You remember that one kid that would audition and go over the top with stuff, trying to oversell it. This is what she's doing. If the conspiracy theorists are correct and she has a script, she's ad-libbing the script, kind of like when they put something on the teleprompter and Trump goes off of it. She's playing this up too much. Girl, you have yet to be out of the public eye. You've already been cackling it up on the podcast. Just talk. Just talk.
Never replace my husband. No. But I do see some similarities of my husband in JD.
Now I'm pausing this here because are you noticing that in her appearances, every time that she has to, and I'm saying has to, not needs to, speak about Charlie, she looks up. She's trying to cement, because I saw a lot of people question this, and I realized what she's doing. She's trying to cement that she is a good Christian woman and that Charlie is up in heaven looking down at her. It's a subtle tell. It's a lot of what people do in movies when they're trying to convey something that may not be in the script, but they want in the script, or they're trying to tie something into the next scene and things like that. Because she picked up on the narrative that people were surrounding Charlie with moments after his death. Okay? And she's running with that narrative. She's marketing with it. Hell, she already has merch.
And Vice President J.D. Vance. I do. And that's why I'm so blessed to be able to introduce him tonight.
And also, let me say this. If all of y'all are such good friends and you're hanging out, I don't know about you, but I can tell you about me. When you've been friends with people for a while, or, hold on. Excuse me. Let me back up a moment. When you choose to become friends with someone, it's because you all have similarities. You have things in common. The longer you're friend, excuse me. Oh, came over. The more the two of you or the three of you or how many, you're going to remind people of each other. It's going to happen. That did need to be pointed out. So it's like, do you really have friends?
Because he understands the fight that we're up against. And he can articulate that in a way.
What fight are you up against? And when has JD Vance been able to properly or, excuse me, impressively articulate anything about anyone? Except for when he's talking about a couch. Girl, if you change your name to Ashley, it'll be over for everybody.
That transcends race, that transcends demographic backgrounds.
When was that a problem for y'all? Y'all are all white organization.
He's an amazing man. So please help me welcome to the stage Vice.
He's so amazing that he has not done his job as vice president. He's either been in Cincinnati, Ohio, or on vacation, and he's decided to moonlight for a check for y'all, a college organization. All right.
Vice President J.D. Vance.
Hold on a second. I want to, let's see, can I speed this up a little bit? Right there. Right there. I know everybody is taking the still shot of their hug. I don't know why. Excuse me. I don't know why all of a sudden I can't stop sneezing. Oh, my apologies. Excuse me. Interesting time for allergies to kick in, but people are taking that still shot. Not appropriate. Not appropriate at all. I would not be comfortable with one of my friends hugging. Woo, child. No, absolutely not. But both of them, they would have been happy together because I would have left. But after really looking at everything again, and kind of taking a palate cleanser from my mind and looking at it without all the other commentary, JD Vance needs a voting bloc that will push him over the edge. JD Vance is not trying to lead MAGA, but JD Vance does want a cushy job. JD Vance understands that the vast majority of the work happens in Congress. Whether he goes on to run for president, he starts a lobbying firm, he becomes a lobbyist, whatever, or he goes back to Peter Thiel, just getting him on paper positions in IT. This is what he wants. This is what he needs. Him going to Turning Point USA and go, yeah, I'll fill in for Charlie whenever you need me to, blah, 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 because he's working on a voter block. He does not care about either one of those women. Do I believe there was a period of time that he truly did love Usha? Yes. But Usha cannot stroke his ego the way that popularity within the United States can. We talk about money being a hell of a drug and power being a hell of a drug. But I think people fail to realize that folks that were awkward and never had big friend crowds and stuff like that, things like this can shoot them over the top. I don't think he wants either of these ladies. And I could be 100% wrong. I could be. So could be. There are so many videos. I am pulling this. I just stuck them all in my notes. That's why I'm coming back and forth. So that's why they're going like this. Because it's better than trying to download them and get them back into the order that I have them here. But let's see what the regal Mrs. Kirk has to say.
Lies, tiny little misrepresentations, tiny little half-truths that right out of the gate seems altogether unnecessary. It really makes me wonder, who are they protecting exactly? You'll see oftentimes they and other influencers will invoke Erica as the reason that it's not appropriate to ask questions. It's just not appropriate while Erica is still mourning for you guys to ask any questions. And I'm just going to come back at you with some common sense. What sort of widow wouldn't want people to investigate the assassination of their husband? She has not explicitly said that.
For people that are like, oh, none of us have been in that position with Jackie Kennedy Onassis. Jackie Kennedy Onassis mourned and still pushed for an investigation and justice. Keep that in mind.
But the influencers are invoking that, right? They're invoking it's not appropriate right now for people to be asking questions. That's what I mean when I say they are David hogging us. Okay. You could also use another example. Somebody that was on the right, Kyle Khrushchev. What essentially means is that when a tragedy takes place and we are emotional, our emotions are raw. Me especially, I think this was the first time where I couldn't really check my telling micro lies, tiny little misrepresentations, tiny little half truths that right out of the gate seems altogether.
You know, my biggest pet peeve with Erica Kirk is that you got me kind of agreeing with Candace Owens. And here's the thing. I believe give people the respect that they give others, and especially give people the respect that they give you. I am a big believer in matching energy. Whatever tempo you set, I'm going with it. Okay? Don't tell me that you're uncomfortable with me doing something that you're doing, because I'm going to keep doing it because you keep doing it. Call it childish all you want. My biggest rule, if you've been around here, don't ask for something you can't give. And that's the biggest rule that I live by. I don't ask for what I can't give. So Charlie Kirk is the same person that when black and brown people of color in general, are being gunned down, being murdered, he had jokes about it. He said certain things about it. So why can't we ask the questions to presumably get him justice? Because wouldn't the FBI be asking these questions? Wouldn't the sheriff's department in Utah be asking these questions? Shouldn't the governor of Utah be asking these questions? Because wasn't he waiting for his white knight? Isn't he still waiting for his ultimate white knight moment where he can pull down a conviction? How are you going to get a conviction without asking certain questions? Like, who was it that took the SD card out of the camera that was behind Charlie? Have they reviewed that footage? Why did everybody walk away? Was there anybody else? Why did this person disassemble a gun? with a leg injury get off the roof of a building over into wooded area, reassemble the gun and leave it there? Where really was the car? Why aren't these questions that are being asked? And why is it wrong? I'll use the murder of Sonia Massey as an example. Because if you're not aware, that officer was found guilty. Soon as news hit that her life had been taken, multiple think pieces went out across multiple social media platforms. People were talking about this in hair salons and barbershops and coffee shops, on the way to work, on the bus, on the train, whatever. There were lives happening. There were podcasts about it. And people were questioning both sides. How did we get here? Asking the questions, whether they were for her receiving justice or they believe she did not deserve justice. The conversations were being had. When the assassination attempts occurred on Trump, same thing. Conversations were being had, questions were being asked. Why all of a sudden is it disrespectful to ask these things about Charlie Kirk? Especially since these same right-wing influencers, content creators, if you will, were the ones leading the charge for people to lose scholarships, to lose placements in universities, to lose employment, to receive death threats because they weren't mourning Charlie Kirk. I know they tried to paint it as if everybody was out in the streets partying. No, Trump ain't dead. We ain't throwing a party. We're not in this economy. Okay, we got money for one good party. And everybody is keeping their little $30 for this party in their pocket. And then we're going to all come together and put our $30 together and we going to do it. We can't do multiple cookouts right now. So we can have the conversations of getting people fired in Charlie's name. We can have the conversations of them trying to make his birthday a federal holiday. We can have Kirkapalooza. And they still haven't paid the bill for that yet. But people can't ask questions in the name of him receiving justice. What? Huh? Okay, that seems weird. That seems really weird. And let me go on the record now. I don't believe that it will happen. But should anything ever happen to me, and I'm not saying because of platform or size, I'm saying that because I'm a person living within the United States. Yes, I'll ask all the questions. Don't let nobody say, well, it's disrespectful to ask that she just pet. Ask all the questions. Okay? Turn into Tutuola and Benson from Law and Order if you have to. Actually, scratch that. Turn in the fucking Stabler. Crack some motherfucking heads. Get all the answers. Okay? It ain't no time for rules. That is definitely time rules are meant to be broken. And don't go, well, it won't be admissible in the court of law. I said get justice. I didn't say how you get the justice. I'm just saying. Now, also, according to public information, Erica Kirk is 5 years older than Charlie. That's not a big thing. I know my stepmother is older than my father. Not a big deal. But once again, she's older. She's far more accomplished. She's the one with the connections. She's the one that came in with the money. Why was she with him? Because nothing about she's giving a more polished version of Melania. And Melania, I get why she's with Trump. She was manipulative. She thought this man really had the money that he was putting in, that he was telling Forbes that he had. And I'm pretty sure she tried to leave a couple times. Then when he started rolling in the money, it was because of the presidency that she never wanted him to have. And she's like, shit, this the payoff I've been waiting for. I'm about to get it. But with Erica, I don't know. And the more I look at pictures of her, no, I'm not being funny. I question, how old is she? Like, well, how old is she? Like, we're going to keep this train rolling.
Notice that's missing from this memorial poster? Oh, that's right, Charlie's face isn't even on it. Normally the person that you're honoring would be front and center, not the speakers. And then the story about the no exit wound. As a Christian, I get how they're trying to paint this out as some sort of miracle. Anyone who hunts knows that this is literally impossible. Yeah, we're just supposed to believe that he's a man of steel. Don't even get me started on this moment right here.
That young man. I forgive him.
Yeah, forgiveness for free publicity. Because right after this, she's the one getting all the attention, all the cash, and the power. Not to mention, she used to be an actress, and people tend to forget that little detail.
Not only outward beauty, but in her beauty, and that's what I'm looking for in a woman. So, how do you two ladies know each other?
And are we just supposed to sit here and forget this hand gesture? Why did she wait to do this while she was with the president? And people are saying this is the sign language for I love you. Last time I checked, Charlie wasn't deaf. Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I'm not buying this whatsoever. And the more you look at it, the weirder it gets. Good question.
Told you. She is she's running with the narrative that the people have created for her. I'll give her that. And folks, I will never understand this. When there are people truly in need and they come to the internet or they put together a GoFundMe, folks always have 1,000,001 questions. They want to dig into somebody and they'll find the slightest little thing to justify not giving them money. But Charlie Kirk died with a net worth of a little over $12 million. Why was $4 million raised for Erica Kirk? The Vice President of the United States transported Kirk's body on Air Force Two. They rented out a stadium, and you thought, yeah, we don't want this mother to be destitute. But now you're laughing and praising people not being able to sustain themselves through nutrition. You're talking about you don't want your taxpayer dollars to go to fund somebody's life, but you're always handing over your taxpayer dollars to fund the lives of people who already live off your backs. I can't. Oh, is it me? It can't be me. It can't be me.
Do you want Jimmy to give you an apology? Do you want to be on his show? How can we?
I'm surprised she didn't say, yeah, I'll be on the show. But that narrative, once again, she wants to be on that show, but she can't because the people that are currently buying up her "My Husband Died" merch, they wouldn't like that too much.
Make it right. This is not our issue.
Make what right? He didn't say anything about Charlie Kirk. And you could have cleared that up. But that doesn't fit the narrative that's continuing to line your pockets.
Not our mess. If you want to say I'm sorry to someone who's grieving, go right ahead.
Is the grieving in the room with us? Is it? Because I don't seem to see it. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I need to change my glasses and I'll see the grieving. I don't know.
I don't want it.
I'm sorry, what? So you can muster up forgiveness of someone who destroyed your entire life in 1 week, but it's been, a month and a half since Jimmy Kimmel said that. The gracious grieving widow isn't handing out any more grace. The grace bank is closed. No more forgiveness. The hypocrisy is ridiculous. You're using every opportunity for a photo op, the Super Bowl, your orphanage. The only interview you take is inside Charlie's studio, and from what I understand, that's inside your home. That is a strategic move of intimidation. Your husband just got assassinated, and we're not sure at this point who's behind it. No one feels comfortable coming inside your house and just asking you whatever they want to ask you. I would be on my toes. And I'm sorry, the whole orphanage thing does not sit well with me. There is not one orphanage in the United States because we have the foster care system. I'm not saying it's perfect, but what I am saying, it's not the top of the list of problems that we're facing in this country.
Okay. Quick caveat here. There are orphanages left in the United States. Do want to point that out. But yeah, it's... And because the followers of Kirk overlap with the MAGA faction of the Republican Party, they're not going to really think this through. She's blonde. She's a woman. She's their new Jackie O without the presidency. She's going to ride this out for as long as she can. She really, truly is. Because all this grieving, who's going to ask her about her kids? And if family means so much, because that's central, that's their big thing. Family, 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 family. And she's a woman who her husband centered a big chunk of the brand, Turning Point USA, around women being the nurturers and taking care of children. Who's with the children? Now, I do also know a major component to the conspiracies flying around regarding Charlie Kirk. There are people who are now saying they don't believe that he's deceased. They're quoting that, they're citing that there are reports that there was a private plane that took off around that time. Okay, let me explain something to y'all. I don't know if it belonged to them or not, but I need y'all to stop acting as if when a major event happens, that every car belongs to this person. Every plane belongs to this person. They're the only ones that signed up for airspace. And this is what I mean. If you want to fiddle around with conspiracy theories, learn up about things that are, and I don't mean to sound condescending or disrespectful when I say this, but learn about the things that are above your pay grade. And I say this because I took a lot of time, things that are above my pay grade, so to speak, I have learned about. I'm talking to people from different perspectives. So when I'm reporting things, I can get a better understanding. You can think, oh, shoot, a private plane took off. Oh, it had to be him on there, until you realize just how many freaking private planes are out there. And when you figure out that if you and your family are taking a vacation and there's like 10 or more of y'all, that it's going to be less expensive for you all to rent out a private plane. There are people working on their pilot's licenses. There are people every day making videos where part of their commute is hopping on a private plane and flying themselves here and there. Let's be careful what we add into these. Once again, not defending them, just putting out some more information to put things into context. But yeah, for somebody who's so grieving, and yes, I understand and I respect that everybody grieves differently. But you're trying to paint this picture of having such a close, loving relationship with your husband, and something that seemingly was so sacred to you all, you keep going in with lights, camera, actions, and all these people. you're not trying to preserve different things in there. You're not protective over certain things like, oh, 2 days before he died, he had used this mic for the last time. Because a lot of times when we grieve in the initial stages, and sometimes it never goes away, we get very, very protective and possessive over the final things that our loved ones touched, used, all of this stuff. And you can leave the house and travel all around for all of these Kirkapaloozas. And you want all this privacy into grieving. You want people to stop whispering behind you. But you haven't stopped with the photo ops. And I agree with the gentleman from the last video. I would not come into your house. At all. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. And I'm definitely not going into the studio of a dead man. And once again, where are the children? Because even if you say, oh, well, the studio is soundproof, that's still in your home, which is concerning. Because multiple times, Charlie Kirk and his wife have talked about the death threats that they've received and all this other stuff. Why are you having people come to where your family is, especially your children? I understand the two adults. That is your decision, how you decide to deal with things like that. But why do you want all these people coming in and out when you're trying to establish, or I hope you're trying to establish, a new normal with your children? That's weird. That's suspicious. It really is. It's I guess.
Just this morning, Candace Owen released irrefutable evidence and documentation that Charlie Kirk and Erica Kirk filed for a disillusionment of marriage 2 days before his assassination. There are actual text messages back and forth between Erica and Charlie discussing. Just this morning, Candace Owen released.
Now, this is a major smoking gun that is being discussed like nonstop. Now, here's the thing. And you might want to come at my neck for this. I don't know. I don't care. If we've already filed, if we're already having these discussions, and she already confirmed that first she said that when this happened, she was with her mother was in the hospital, and she answered the phone. Then recently, in a more recent interview, she said that her phone had died, and she just, I've just been blacked out. How are you putting all this stuff together without a phone? But I digress. But if you've already been talking about this stuff, and you're already dividing it up, why kill him? That's my biggest problem with the conspiracy theories that are going on that are saying that she was behind it. Why kill him? And for those that believe that she is it, because some people are like, oh, she's an Israeli honeypot, and because he was turning the corner regarding Israel and he was getting too close and he was finding out the truth, blah, blah, blah. He's been to Israel. He's already known the truth. Okay. A well-to-do white man that's being sponsored by a wealthy white man and goes to Israel. He already knows the truth of Israel and Palestine. He knows it. But why be involved in killing him? Because it would have been an even better story, and it would have garnered more money to quote unquote bury him, to make him look crazy, to make him look insane, and just take over his stuff that way. And be like, oh, I had to escape him. Ooh, child. Okay, there. I did not realize just how many videos this is. Okay, we're gonna do one more, and I have a photo to show you, and then we'll just do a part 2 tomorrow because I don't want to keep y'all here for like 3 hours. So let's get this one queued up. Yeah.
So someone brought to my attention that Erica has a interesting photo on her Instagram. Taken down. If you want to go look it up, it's from 2013.
Okay. So you heard that. April 29th, 2013. Did you think I wasn't going to have the picture? And here's a screenshot that I got, and I made sure. This is the next piece to their conspiracy theory puzzle. Now, odd choice for a photo op, for a photo shoot. Odd choice. I give you that. Some people are like, oh, it's foreshadowing. It's from 2013. And I'm like, do y'all now think that she was up on the roof at UVU to take him out? Because I don't. Like, we got to dial back. We got to dial back on the Tin Hattery. Okay? We really, really do. She has multiple photos on her Instagram with her and guns. She's got one with her and a rifle in the kitchen, okay? like she it's a weird obsession, but yeah, like she's glammed up sharpshooter Barbie here. Like, let's like let's we're really grasping at straws and trying to put together a good conspiracy here, you guys. Like, I mean, the lighting and everything is great. Like, it would have made a wonderful picture. I've done photo shoots on a rooftop. You could have gone with a better concept, but we'll stick a pin in it right there for now. Like I said, I didn't realize just how many videos I have, and I don't want to have y'all here to the wee hours of the morning. So we'll stick a pin in it. Same time, same place tomorrow. Thank you for sticking it out with me so far for Think About It Thursdays here on Conversations with Taz. I will see you all tomorrow. Be good.